So, time management and stress burnout are things that are really common to anyone that is in like the workforce or might participate in even school and balancing sports in their life. So, these are two really common things that most people in the world actually experience. So, personally, I know I also experience some time management and stress and burnout in my life. Currently, I am a full time student and a senior at Ball State University, and I am also working a job at Greeks in the Village as a server. So, trying to manage those two can be very stressful at times because with my schoolwork, I know I'm here to get a degree in my education in the very end, but also with working at Greeks as a server, I'm trying to create this like profit and wealth for myself where I can have some sort of cushion after college, but also be able to pay for bills that I have right now, like my rent. I have car payments to make, gas, groceries, and paying for my tuition. So those are all things that I'm trying to balance right now, which can create these time management issues along with stress and burnout at the same time. So with how my schedule is right now, I currently have classes only on Tuesdays and Thursdays, which is very nice. So I try to work Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings. So then I can get my work done in the mornings and then also have the rest of the day to be able to finish my homework for those upcoming days. So in a TED Talk that I have recently watched, it is called How to Build Your Creative Confidence by David Kelly. And in that TED Talk, he talks about how building your creative confidence is something that a lot of people actually lack in their life and could really gain and benefit from having this creative confidence. So what he means by creative confidence is be able to basically have this confidence in yourself that you are creative. So a lot of people like to think that they actually aren't creative in life, but really it's something that like you can learn and honestly adapt to. You just kind of have to put this time and effort into it and like be consciously thinking about how you want to be creative in your life. And being creative doesn't only come with like being in the arts or doing things like that. It can really come in all like different shapes and sizes. So an example that he gives during his TED Talk is about a doctor who gives MRIs to kids, and during the TED Talk he explains how this doctor, when he would give MRIs to kids, about 70% of the kids had to be sedated while he was giving these MRIs because the kids were just too uncomfortable with the room. It was a huge white room and they had to lay in these MRI machines for sometimes hours on end. And so he kind of like tapped into his creative confidence to try and fix this issue in his work life. And he ended up creating the MRI room to be sort of this like jungle playroom type thing. So it was kind of animal themed and it had different like plants and whatnot. So when the kids would come in, they would then feel more comfortable with being in that room, and it didn't have that kind of like medical type feel like they had to be all serious and whatnot. So that kind of like taps into the idea that you don't have to be creative and do like arts at the same time, that this doctor tapped into his creative confidence and applied it to his like medical work life. So some ways that I hope to end up dealing and bettering my time management and stress and burnout is, so I get a new schedule every week for my work, and I hope to plan to be able to kind of write out my syllabus and then know what I have for that upcoming week or two in advance, so that I could kind of like cross compare the two. So like if I know I have a test on Thursday, I could end up taking Wednesday off for work to spend that time to sort of be able to study for that test and feel more confident going into the test on Thursday and knowing that I don't have to work Wednesday morning and then try and cram all this time in and Wednesday evening to try and get all my learning in for that test in on time. And another way that I hope to plan with time management is simply just bringing my homework into work. So usually in the mornings I am busy working from 11 to about 1:30, 2 o'clock, from like 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, which is the end of my shift. I usually find myself not really doing much. I'm kind of waiting around. It's kind of a lull in the day where it's like in between kind of that lunch and dinner area. So I don't really have much going on. So I think by simply being able to bring in my homework to work on while I'm not doing much could also really help me with trying to like manage my time, and also like trying to avoid that stress and burnout that I could feel after work by knowing that I have to like get off work and then go straight into like studying or doing my homework that I have that's due that day. And I also, which kind of ties into the first one, is to work ahead on my homework. So with like cross comparing my calendars for work and school life, I personally find myself doing a lot of my work due on the day. Like I do it on the day that it's due instead of rather working ahead. So I try to work ahead sometimes when I can find time for myself, but most of the time I end up not finding myself having enough time, so I end up doing it on the day that it's due. So by trying to like cross compare my calendars, and then cross compare my calendars, and then being able to see like what I have when it's due and like my homework, hopefully being able to work ahead will take away from this time management and stress and burnout that I'm currently feeling in life. But all in all, time management, stress, and burnout, as overwhelming as they can see or like be in the moment, it is something that a lot of us deal with day to day in our lives. It's not really an uncommon thing, even though it can seem very stressful to yourself in the moment, because it is sort of a personal battle that you're dealing with yourself. But after watching the How to Build Your Creative Confidence by David Kelly and kind of creating these 3 steps for me, I really hope to be able to kind of take away at least some of that time management stress that I'm feeling, and then the overall stress and burnout that I'm giving to myself.